Hey, welcome to the Bitcoin panel. The Bitcoin panel. It's Friday. We're just going to hang out and chat. We have a bunch of awesome guests here, but this is a stream we do every Friday on the Fractal Bitcoin channel. I also make daily videos, short news videos, and those are awesome. So definitely subscribe and like the Fractal Bitcoin channel and all that. And I even made I'll show you guys. Let me bring you guys in first. So welcome, everybody. Tatum, Carl. Oh, AC got dropped. And James. So happy to have you guys here. Welcome. Everyone say hello at the same time. Go.
Hello. Hello. We didn't do that great. Okay.
All right, we'll do quick introductions. Well, first of all, I'd like to say about myself, I'm pretty much a Bitcoin beginner, even though I've been into it for 6 years, but I'm not like I'm not trained in anything Bitcoin. I'm not a financial person, but I'm just what would you call it? I'm an avid fan. I'm a what? Yeah. So let's go around the horn here. Did everybody freeze or just Tatum? Okay.
I think it was me. My internet goes in and out sometimes, so I'll go ahead and let y'all know that. If I cut out, I will be back in 5 seconds. I don't know why that happens.
So let's do the quick introductions. Tatum, why don't you start us out?
What's up? I'm Tatum Turnup. I am a talk show host between two ASICs on YouTube and a Bitcoin miner, ASIC miner repair technician, board level hardware stuff, and just all around Bitcoin degen.
And Tatum has assured me that my new little bit axe that I just plugged in, he's assured me within at least maximum 3 days I'm going to get a block reward.
Plus or minus a few hundred years.
1,000 years.
James, how about you, man? Welcome.
Yeah, been in Bitcoin since I read about it in 2013 and wasn't smart enough to invest in it until 2017. So, been a miner in the past. Not mining anymore. I used to have a garage full of mining until electricity got too expensive. Just, technical at times. I get some things. I don't get other things. I was just reading up on Cash, so that sounds fascinating. So, yeah, just love the space.
Awesome. Welcome, James. And if you can crank your mic up a little, that'd be great. So how about you, Carl? Welcome, man.
Hey. I've worked with Tatum on Between Two ASICs, and more recently I'm working now with Studio BTC, and we'll actually be producing Between Two ASICs. So still Tatum hasn't gotten rid of me yet. So yeah, I've been in Bitcoin I heard about it back in 2011 and dipped my toes in the water in about 2014, just a tiny bit, and then I was out of it until just maybe 2019, about in there, and have been, doing a modest DCA ever since. So, yeah.
Sweet, welcome. And Tatum, you're not wearing headphones, right? Or earbuds?
Yeah, I got earbuds.
Oh, you are? Because I'm hearing some weird feedback from. Or is there people in the background somewhere?
That's probably what it is. I'll go tell them to shut up real quick.
Okay,
I'll be back.
Okay. Oh, man. Okay. We should take the camera with you, follow you. And AC, how about you, man? Welcome.
Yeah. Hey, thanks. Been on the show a couple times, so appreciate you continuing to invite me out. Been in Bitcoin and started off actually in shitcoins, but been in Bitcoin since about 2016, 2017 timeframe. Lost my ass a couple times, learned a couple lessons, and then have been in it ever since. So, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, happy to have you here. Paul says, pound that like button. And Johnny B says, hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, ¿y tú? Oh, yeah. 5 years of Spanish.
Me gusta la cerveza.
So, all right, well, I had this idea today to talk about L2s, and there are a bunch, right? There's the Lightning Network. There's liquid, but let's talk about what L2s are, just if you're new, because I know I'm telling like a bunch of my family members and friends, like, hey, watch the stream. And I know, like, once we start using mining words and any words about Bitcoin, they don't get. So it's hard. But let's talk about layer 2s. I mean, we know Bitcoin was created, and that's the base layer, right? We call that the layer 1. And so why do we even need a layer 2, Tatum? Why don't we start with you?
Well, the main reason is speed. It's weird to think about it because you have final settlement on the base layer in a lot quicker than any sort of traditional finance fiat currency that you can imagine. But for instantaneous payments and confirmations, it does still take a little while. And there's a scalability issue. And especially now with a very rampant fee market and a clogged mempool, some of those, I mean, you could submit a transaction and it'll sit there for weeks if you didn't put the fee rate high enough. So that's where layer 2s come in, and I've run my own Lightning node for years, and just now kind of getting on the eCash train as well. I want to preface everything that I say with I am an optimistic bear on Lightning. Like I've said this several times. I want to love Lightning, but it's not where it needs to be. And I think that there is going to be a place for Lightning, but it's not going to be the final settlement layer. That doesn't sound. That's not exactly what I mean. But it's not going to be. Everyone's not going to be using Lightning directly, is what I'm saying. It's going to end up being kind of a quote unquote settlement layer for things built on top of Lightning, not necessarily layer 3s, but branches of layer 2s.
All right, who else wants to jump in? Let's go.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I agree with everything Tatum said. I look back at like the blockchain trilemma. And for those who don't know what that is, that's like security, scalability, and decentralization. And, you see a lot of other projects out there that try to optimize for one or the other. And they'll point to Bitcoin as like, and they'll say, hey, it's slow. Block times are 10 minutes. And we optimize for speed or scalability. But really that speed and that scalability at the base layer, like Tatum said, that's a feature, not a bug. There's a reason that it was designed to be that way. But to accommodate for that transaction and that medium of exchange and that instant final settlement that we look for as a medium of exchange, that's why there's an existence of layer 2s, whether that be Lightning, Liquid, eCash, you kind of name it. I'm not a bit dev or anything like that, so I can't get too deep into the weeds. But I think it's a necessary requirement to get transaction speeds faster to move us from, a store of value to a medium of exchange.
Right. Yeah, and so part of the layer 2s can be faster, and also you could do smaller amounts. Like if you want to buy your coffee in the morning, you don't want to do that on the base layer because it'll take so much time and there'll be more fees. So it's these layer 2s are meant to be much quicker with very much smaller transactions and also lower fees. So right now, what is there? There's Lightning, there's eCash. What is Cashu?
Cashu is a protocol, or Cashu is the protocol, I think. It's from my understanding, it is an eCash protocol that's built on top of Lightning. So it's like the way that I've understood it. I'm still just dipping my toes into it, but you can create a Lightning invoice and receive eCash tokens that are part of mints, but they're pegged to sats. Like it's not like a secondary. It's not like an altcoin, for instance. Like it's still, you're still entering into the chain, I guess, by using Bitcoin. but it's kind of like it's utilizing Lightning channels, from my understanding.
Okay. Yeah, it is confusing, right? And that's why, I mean, Carl, like, has it been have layer 2s been confusing for you? Because they've been confusing for me. Oh, you're muted,
on
brother.
Yeah, sure. And I think it's necessary. We have to move to tools that are easy for the masses to onboard. And that's one of the things that tells me we're still so early. The fact that like an example I gave just this last week was Studio BTC did some work for a Bitcoin company. I'm not going to say who, because they paid us in US dollars. And the funny thing was, we gave them two options. One was pay us in Bitcoin, and the other was pay us in fiat, but there's a fiat premium. They chose the fiat premium. And that's not, I still love this company, so I don't want to say who it was or anything. But the fact that it's still so hard to do your accounting and bookwork and tracking your taxes and things like that in Bitcoin is, I think, the reason why they chose to pay in cash. So until we have these tools developed, we're still super early.
Right? Yeah.
That's an interesting segue. Did either of you guys see the recent announcement? I think it was yesterday from Jack Mallers, and he announced Strike Black, and it was designed specifically for businesses to onboard onto Bitcoin and Lightning. I think that a lot of the stuff that he's doing over at Strike is really getting after that usability, that UI UX for Bitcoin and for Lightning, and not even just for retail. With this most recent announcement, I think he's moving towards businesses as well. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's why I liked Strike so much, is because it's essentially like someone who's not even a Bitcoiner could use Strike and not realize like it is a Bitcoin company or anything like that. Like, it's essentially Venmo built on top of Bitcoin, and they've utilized Lightning Rails and Bitcoin Rails to do international conversions, which no one else has figured out yet, because as in like fiat companies, because that's so difficult to do. No, it's really not, whenever you are utilizing Bitcoin Rails, where it's permissionless to go in and out of. Like, it's almost like you have the way that layers are is like there's a unilateral entry and exit point with each one. So that's why Lightning is a layer 2. You cannot enter Lightning without going through the base chain layer 1 Bitcoin. You cannot exit Lightning without going the base layer Bitcoin. So it's almost like Strike was like, okay, we're going to use USD as layer 1 and Bitcoin as layer 2, which, don't take that example as like what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is not a layer 2 for fiat currency, but that's essentially what they did, where if I want to send, I don't know if they're in Mexico, but if I want to send pesos to Mexico, I can send 10 US dollars. It's immediately converted to Bitcoin on the back end, and then converted to pesos on the other end, and there you have it.
Yeah. The usability. James, have you used much of the of layer 2s, like Lightning or anything else?
I've used a little bit of Lightning. I haven't really had much of a need to, because I honestly, Bitcoin, I don't move it around much. So I've been using other things, God forbid. I'm more of a Monero user day to day, and then Bitcoin just holding it. But my question is, and I'm here to learn a lot too. So my question is, how much is the non-custodial Lightning space developing versus the custodial Lightning space? Because that's, I just, I like everything decentralized, and I realize it's not there yet, but I'm just wondering how it would seem to me that custodial Lightning is still predominant in the space.
I actually think that non-custodial Lightning development has ramped up a lot more recently, because that's what I mean. You look at like Wallet of Satoshi, which they didn't necessarily rug pull by any means. The whole thing was sketchy, but like in the U.S. you can't use Wallet of Satoshi anymore, and that was when a lot more people were like, okay, let's look at non-custodial uses and stuff like that. And like the UX and UI of Umbral was really good. It was very difficult in the earlier days to interact with it, kind of like while Satoshi gave you convenience, because you still had to open and manage channels. You still had to connect via Tailscale at some point. Tailscale was a huge movement. Like before that, you had to do it through Tor if you wanted to do remotely. But I think that now the non-custodial is a lot more rampant. Like Phoenix Wallet, for instance, is what I've been playing around with a lot lately, and it's awesome. It's fully self-custodial. They do manage the channels, but you can also actually, I don't know if on Phoenix you can manage your own channels. I know on Zeus you can now do your own channels on Zeus using their embedded node, which it still does take a little time, just like for loading and stuff like that. It's not like a open it up and let your phone sit for like 2 weeks or something like that. Like it's really awesome, and I don't think it's in its final form, but Zeus has been a huge mover for non-custodial use, because on top of them now offering their embedded node, you can connect your own node, like your Umbral, remotely, or even like Albi if you do want to do custodial and move stuff around. Albi's still even promoting self-custody by limiting your transactions and stuff like that. They're like, look, you can do that kind of transaction if you have your own channels and manage it that way. It's not that we can't do it. It's like we don't want to, because we don't want that much size, I guess, on top of our shoulders.
Yeah, and I agree with Tatum. I'm a big user of Phoenix also, which is a self-custodial Lightning wallet. And I think there are a couple others. Don't quote me on it, but off the top of my head, I think Mutiny and Speed and Aqua
Breeze.
also, and Breeze also fit into that category. But really, I look at it as almost like a temporary wallet. I mean, I'm not holding a large amount of sats on a Lightning wallet for a long amount of time. Usually that's just to build up the amount before I send it to cold storage. And the reason there, like we talked about last week, is I want to have a good UTXO size to move over just for UTXO management in the future. And I think that, like what Tatum said, what happened with Wallet of Satoshi is only going to move the needle and move developers in that direction for more self-custody Lightning wallets.
I'm curious though, why is somehow it seems like creating a self-custody Lightning wallet is difficult. Like you have to open channels, you have to you have to do all this stuff.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, so sorry to interrupt, but like Phoenix, they implemented splicing. And so if you were to have a transaction incoming, they would charge a fee to you and then splice your channel higher, basically adding liquidity to it. And you don't have to manage. You can
also request liquidity as well.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can pay for, it's almost like a subscription-based inbound liquidity.
Yeah.
Which, like, I looked into it and it actually seemed legit. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty affordable. I mean, you can go all the way up to 10 million sats buying liquidity on Phoenix. And then the other kind of gamified way to do it is if you send a rather large transaction to yourself in Phoenix, like let's just make it up and say you want to send yourself a 10 million sat transaction, and then that will open and create a 10 million sat channel for you in Phoenix. Now, the gamified piece of that is you got to send it out to get it back into cold storage. You've got to send it out to another Lightning wallet. You pick it, whether that's Breeze or Moon, which isn't a true Lightning wallet, but another Lightning wallet, and then send it from there back layer one into cold storage. What you've done is you've preserved the capacity in Phoenix for future transactions coming in. So that's kind of a gamified way to do it without renting liquidity through Phoenix, because they do have a like Tatum said, it's a subscription for 1 year. So there are ways around it. And I think that the abstraction of channel management for Lightning is only going to improve the UI and the UX moving forward.
Also, I did want to add in where with Zeus, you can open up a channel to their Olympus. I don't think it's technically their node, but you can open up a channel through their Olympus product, and you basically have a channel that you can manage liquidity in and out of non-custodially, just like on the side. So the UX UI is getting there. And I think that the main thing that's going to help is when fees go down, because everyone was preaching like consolidate your UTXOs, open up your Lightning channels, and not everyone listened, including me. And now it's like, okay, I need to do it. It's not too late by any means, but it is like more expensive, I guess, when the fee market is pretty high. But I mean, comparatively, it's not expensive at all to do this kind of in a one-time deal. But it's a constant learning experience. Like managing Lightning is, you learn something every time you do it. It's not like a muscle memory thing, I don't think.
Yeah, that's interesting. And it's such a, like, the custodial versus non-custodial, you know, you want to hold your own sats and you don't want a company to be holding your sats, because of course the danger is that the company gets hacked and your sats get stolen and then they're gone. It's just, you know, custodial, which means you let a company hold it for you. It just letting them handle everything. That's a wonderful service for the layperson to be able to pay for. Like, I want to pay for that.
That's why Wallet Satoshi was such a good onboarding experience. But you have those risks, and those risks end up, you know, coming through saying that, okay, they're not doing it anymore. You can't use it because you're in America, yada, yada. And onboarding Lightning is so hard. Like, it really is. Like, it's explaining to the layperson that is like, I only got into Lightning because I was a nerd and I had been in Bitcoin for a little while. Like, it's really hard to explain to my dad, like, yeah, so you need to buy this single board computer and then download this and make sure that it sits there for connected to the internet. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go.
Carl's back. You're back, Tatum.
But yeah, it's not, Lightning onboarding is not there yet for the layperson.
Oh, buddy.
Yes,
Hey,
I
guys.
agree there completely.
There are some young Lightning node runners right on the screen there. Welcome.
Can
So-
I ask what happened to Wallet of Satoshi in a nutshell? That's the one I used in the past before.
In a nutshell, they decided for unspecified reasons that they're no longer doing business in U.S., and we're on a list of other countries that they do that with, including like North Korea and Russia or something like that.
Yeah.
I know North Korea for a fact. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Russia, but I was like, was there some sort of $5 wrench attack or something? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we've had a lot.
But yeah, it was literally just they were like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
I've heard rumors, but haven't confirmed it myself, that some people were able to VPN to a different location and get their funds off of Wallet of Satoshi if they needed to, or still continue to use it. But
Look at this
I don't use it.
notification that I just got 18 minutes ago. I don't know how I just got that notification. It's a Wallet of Satoshi. Someone sent me a sat to Tatum turn up at
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
wonder if I can get it.
Yeah, I tell you what, when I found Nostr about a year ago, I learned what Nostr was through Jack Spirko, right? James, you know you're big into Jack, and I went to Nostr, and it was like, oh, you just set up a Lightning wallet of Satoshi, and it was so easy. It was like, okay, got it, connected, boom, and it's like, so what I'm hoping, tell me if this is a crazy hope, or if I'm smoking hopium. And this might be stupid, but can Michael Saylor develop something? And you know what I'm saying? Now that he's a development company.
I don't know if
sounds
he's
like
going to
he's
be
about
on
to.
the. I don't know if he's going to be much on the Lightning side of things, really, because I mean, I remember there was this big meme going around where everyone was like, Michael Saylor's never sent a Lightning transaction in his life, and then he was like, "Okay, I will," and then apparently it didn't even happen. So I don't know. I think he's just on the treasury side of things more than that, but it could happen.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see MicroStrategy with their massive treasury, 1% of all circulating supply ever in existence, to carve out whatever percentage makes sense to them, to be a larger LSP or a Lightning service provider, to provide that inbound, outbound liquidity transiting through kind of their holdings. You know, they set up massive size channels. I don't know if that's in the cards, but it does sound interesting with the amount that they currently hold.
That's one of the crazy things for Lightning with me that like I have difficulty with, because on one hand I believe that we do need big LSPs and like maybe MicroStrategy, but like Phoenix providing liquidity on a subscription service, Magma with Amboss and stuff like that. But also, I think that for the Lightning Network to work its best, I think we need to go full peer-to-peer, but that's never going to realistically happen if I want to run a node, I have to connect to, several of my friends that, I trust enough to open a channel with and stuff like that. But that's where the issue with Lightning is for me. Sorry for this tangent real quick, but like I could open a channel with the 5 of you, or four of you, 5 on the screen. And then I have a route to anyone that y'all are connected to, whatever. But that's a small pool for me, right, to start out with. And maybe y'all aren't even well connected or anything like that. So there's an endpoint that's not too far away. I will have some route not found errors in doing transactions. So to combat that, let me open up 25 channels with some of my friends. The problem is I don't have 25 friends who run their own Lightning nodes. Also, that's 25. There we are. All right, there we go. Yeah. Tatum's back. That's 25 channels I have to manage. That's 25 on-chain transactions that I have to do. And that's just not feasible. Okay, so let me connect to a few bigger nodes, like Wallet of Satoshi's node, like Strike's node, like Amboss, like Async. Okay, that's centralized as hell. Like that's where the paradox is, and I don't know the solution. Sorry, that was my little tangent on why I don't love Lightning yet, but I want to love Lightning.
Yeah, and Tatum, that's a parallel too with one of our previous discussions on mining, and massively large mining pools. Are they getting too centralized versus needing more decentralization? I think that's going to be a conversation and a theme over the next couple of years, whether that be Lightning or mining, is what does that right balance look like with centralization versus decentralization?
See, I have a question though, and look, this is probably silly, but I sort of envision some sort of a black box technology, and of course the black box could be in your phone, right? Where like we all sort of invest in some infrastructure that nobody, it's almost like Bitcoin, but with hardware and nodes, and maybe even like some sort of a social connection ring, like where meaning and have AI involved, where AI can sort of route sats. And so like we can all invest in these nodes, again, these black box dumb nodes, and then the protocol, just like Bitcoin's protocol runs Bitcoin, this other protocol could run this thing, and then it could be just like a big social network where it's all connected, and you let the computers connect everything and all that. And I don't know, maybe that's silly.
I think you just described lightning. I don't know.
Right, but
I
what
don't
I'm
know, maybe
I guess
Go ahead.
what I left out is the nodes would have liquidity. So meaning I wouldn't have to worry about liquidity.
it's like built-in liquidity. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I didn't say it. I should have said it.
Yeah, the other thing too that I kind of want to foot stomp, and Tatum really alluded to it when he was talking about setting up 25 different channels. The other piece that people don't necessarily think about when you're setting up channels is you're effectively locking up some of your Bitcoin or some of your sats to establish those. And so, if you're going to set up, let's call them 1 Bitcoin channels and 25 times, very few people are going to be able to do something like that. And they're probably not going to be willing to do it at the current prices.
It's expensive.
Yeah. If anyone hasn't gone through that journey of trying, learning Lightning, setting up channels, managing inbound and outbound liquidity, it's difficult. It's not easy yet. I mean, it's another one of those that we've got to abstract and make a better UI UX and make it easier for people. But it's also costly. And then you've got the risks of forced close channels and things like that. And so I agree with both of you. Really, is we are so early that we're building the internet as we're starting to use it, and it's going to take time, lessons, and it's only going to improve. But it's one of those things that we have to do, right? And the people at the forefront that are doing it now are going to kind of set the stage for what probably our kids are going to be benefiting from with layer 2s and speed, scalability, decentralization, all the things that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, it's almost like Satoshi invented Bitcoin, and that completely just going to destroy the legacy monetary system. And we need there has to be another invention for the layer 2 of Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it might not be as profound as obviously creating Bitcoin itself, but there has to be something. And so there's also, what is it, Liquid? Liquid is another layer 2. Do any of you guys know what Liquid is or how it works? Because I know I have that Aqua app, and it apparently does Lightning and Liquid, but I've never even used it.
It was, I believe that it was developed by Blockstream. You can actually go look at the Liquid mempool on mempool.space. They do things differently. It's, if I remember correctly, I think it's a federation. So it's essentially kind of like I want to say it's like 1115 multi-sig or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's something that I've been wanting to look more into, but yeah, if you go to the B in the top left, yeah, you can go to Liquid down there. And so you can see it's also, they don't mine blocks, so you can see it's like every single minute. It's a interesting concept for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the big differences is I look at Lightning as a layer 2 Bitcoin, and I look at Liquid as like a side channel, because it doesn't have to necessarily always resolve back to the base layer. They have a process that they call peg in and peg out. So you could peg in, a whole Bitcoin and then get your equivalent in Liquid, continue to transact in and out within Liquid, and then when you want to exit, you would peg out back to your equivalent value in Bitcoin. And so that's kind of the difference I see between the two. But for me, all of these layer 2 or potential layer 3 solutions that people are working on and developing, I think it's amazing. The competition is going to drive continued innovation, and the competition is going to continue to keep fees down. And so the bottom line, I think that's nothing but goodness for the community.
Right? Yeah, I also saw there were some other layer 2s, but yeah, this is, like you said, we're literally building this thing as we go, and no one really understands it yet. Yeah, I don't know. But this is, I had this printed out because I'm going to BitBlock Boom. I printed my own laminate. Hold on, let me full screen myself. Oh, yeah. Look, that's QR. Uh-huh.
Now you just got to add an NFC tag so that people can just tap it.
Dude, I've been playing around with NFC lately, and it's kind of addicting.
Yep. I picked up a Flipper Zero and have been playing with NFC from that perspective as well. So it's been interesting.
Wait. You got to explain that. Yeah, go ahead. Tatum.
Yeah, I was going to say everyone should get NFC tools, just NFC tools on iOS and Play Store. It's super fun and helpful to learn about NFC. And like one of the most fun things that I've ever done with it, which I would not recommend anyone do, is Walker from Crypto Couple was showing me he had a NFC ring where he's like, yeah, you just tap this on a NFC reader and it'll take you to my website. And so I, being the nerd I am, had NFC tools open, and he scanned it, and I was able to access the tag on my thing, and I just rewrote. He didn't lock it, so I rewrote my YouTube channel into it. So now every time someone scans his ring, instead of going to his website, it goes to my YouTube channel. Don't do that. That's very mean, and it could be
Well, you guys are friends, so it's friendly banter.
Right.
Yeah, that NFC thing. So AC, what is like?
Yeah,
explain it further. Yeah.
Well, so I jumped off camera real quick just to go grab it. So this is a Flipper
That
Zero.
little thing is very powerful.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so you can do similar to what Tatum was talking about. Is you can scan NFC tags and then you can save them, emulate them, manipulate them. I did it with a buddy. He had one of those contact cards that were NFC enabled, and I scanned it, emulated it, and then I said, "Hey, you want to scan my card?" And he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, this is me." And I was like, "Yeah, that just happened." So it's a lot of fun, and then beyond just
also,
NFC.
with the Flipper Zero, you can emulate Dave and Buster's cards, so you never run out of tokens. I didn't say that. Someone told me.
I haven't tried that one yet. And I won't.
You should.
For anyone out there listening, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, but the thing is cool. It has like multiple antennas, so it can do just about anything sub gigahertz. So worth exploring.
Do you have the Unleashed firmware?
No, I've got the stock firmware right now, but I'm comparing Unleashed, Momentum, and one other to kind of see which one I like the best.
Unleashed is pretty cool. I've had some good fun with that. I've also learned a lot too, especially I can't remember what I have, but it's a GPIO board that you can attach to the top of it. I can't remember which one that I got, but super fun. Also, you can play Doom on it.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. I just, you know what? If Satoshi Nakamoto's watching, and I'm pretty sure he is, I think he's a sub of the channel. But can we open up a 1 million Bitcoin liquidity pool?
1 million Bitcoin. He's like, yeah, I'll solve this lightning issue. Liquidity for everyone,
right?
Hey, stop.
Yeah.
You might break something.
But I recently, after last week, I revived my Strike account, and I even bought some of the dips with Strike, and then my wife was signing up for Strike, and it freaked her out that she had to put in her social, and it's like, I told her though, it's like a bank. You have to think of it like a bank account, and it's not unheard of. They need to know who you are. I mean, but anyway, she's like, all right, I'll sign up later when I need to, because she doesn't really need to, but that's the thing is like, that's why I brought this up, is because I'm like wishing I could see my friends or non-Bitcoiners and be like, hey, download the wallet and I'll zap you 10,000 sats or something. And there's no one to say that to. I'm like, man, I want to share and whatever, but people work at local stores that I know, like at the bagel place. It's like, one of these days I'm just going to tell them, download this app. But anyway.
Yeah, the other way to do that maybe is, have you explored Riverlink yet?
I've heard of it. I haven't done it.
And so they built an ability in their app where you can send sats as a gift, and it's sent via a link or a QR code or even an SMS text. And then they hit the text, or they get the text, follow the link, and it onboards them onto River to be able to receive that amount. And then I think it's after 30 days, if it's not redeemed, it goes back to you anyways. So it's another way to kind of, onboard Orange Pill, or, share sats with people to get them to at least explore it a little more.
And when they get the River link and they click on it and stuff, does that like start like a River wallet for them or something, or they have to have a wallet already?
Yeah, it would create if they don't already utilize River, they would go through the process of creating an account, and it would be held within River, and then they could take it, into their own custody if they wanted to.
Tatum's like, I got 1 million sats around here somewhere. Where is that?
No,
Is that jacket from Max Kaiser? You check in the pockets to make sure.
yeah, it's one of Max's. There's 12 words somewhere. No, I left my jacket at work, and thankfully this was probably the least invasive prank that they've played on me. But in every one of my pockets, they put Popeye's honey.
At least they're still sealed.
I was about to say, I'm glad that they were not open. That's great. So, okay, sorry. I just figured that out on camera.
A great use for strike. My kids are older, so every time they owe me money, it's Bitcoin or nothing. So,
and there's interest building, so you better learn, buddy.
That's right. So that's how I orange pill them. So yeah.
I actually, my dad helped me out while I was at my last job in the TradFi world that didn't really pay well. I was lied to, but he helped me out a good bit, and I was like, it wasn't like just like, here, take this money, do whatever. Like, he was helping me, and I was told I would pay him back. And then I'm like, dude, can I pay you back in Bitcoin? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'll even knock off a little bit. I was like, are you serious? Hell yeah. So that worked out in my favor, because I was a degenerate who was mining and buying Bitcoin, which just worked in my favor for that time period.
That reminds me of, I was just thinking of telling my mom that she should, on the grandkids' birthdays, she should get the Strike app and send them sats on their birthday. And so, but I haven't approached my mom, and I could tell you right now, it's not going to happen. But I might try. I don't know.
My mom still, like, she'll post on Facebook, and I've deleted my app and stuff just because I'm like, I don't care about all that. But I'll go back on like every 3 or 4 months or so, and I'll just see this like long list of posts from my mom updating everyone on my life and stuff. And I'm like, okay, first of all, stop. I don't want everyone to know exactly what I'm doing every day. 2, in all of these posts, you keep saying you don't know what I do for work, and I've told you several times what I'm doing, and she's like, but I don't understand your Bitcoin or whatever you want to call it. I was like, that's fine. It's whatever. Mark Zuckerberg has my exact location because of my mom.
Oh boy, good old Zuck. Is he still doing the VR thing? What? Seriously, right? Wasn't that supposed to be a big thing? And then haven't heard anything.
You cut out for me. Sorry. What was it?
No, the virtual reality or the whole.
Dude, they were like, oh yeah, you could do meetings and stuff, and then it's like, no one has legs. What the hell? And so they like added legs, and they were bad. Like. That whole thing was a real big flop, but the Quest is a good product in my opinion. I do like the Quest, the Meta Quest.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. How probably other cryptos are going to get implemented into VR before Bitcoin because they already have like all different tokens and projects and
He agrees.
yeah. I mean, I think I don't know. I guess I would consider myself a Bitcoin maxi, but I actually think it's good that all these other people are going crazy trying to build their own. I don't like if they're scamming people, but if they're trying to push the limits of technology and innovation and stuff, like, I mean, hey, that's how civilization moves forward, right? People try weird stuff, and I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the tokenization of everything, because like most everything that you see in development with like NFT, metaverse, stuff like that, it's like, okay, you can do that with like, you can literally just like implement Bitcoin. Not even talking like, you know, like ordinals or anything like that. Like it's all this like pay for play type stuff that like it's a waste of time, in my opinion, to spend your energy on developing something like that is just over centralized. It's a like a singular contract, and like it could be a scam. It also could just be a really bad money grab, and also like just you're trying to implement something you're not good at because you can tokenize it. Basically, that was a huge theme of the 2021 bull run. It's like, oh, we can make money off of making a token and an NFT to go along with you name it. Awesome. I just became a video game developer, you know, like it. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just spent a little tangent again. I guess.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's like people are just trying to make money and they're trying to do stuff, and that's what, you know, you give people
solutions for problems that don't exist. That's the whole like shitcoin ecosystem pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, then you got all the Solana coins going on. Right, I just saw a meme about. I didn't know all that shit. What was going on there with all the racist and the Nazi coins and stuff?
Yeah, dude,
that's hilarious.
I saw someone posted a screenshot of their portfolio, and I was like, "You have multiple Bitcoins worth in these extremely racist tokens. Like, what is going on here?"
Weird.
Yeah, that's crazy because we went through we've been through the meme coin, bull markets or whatever you want to call them back in the day. And it's like, I mean, those are just absolute shit coins. There's zero value and people are still diving into them. And it's an opportunity to get more Bitcoin.
Hey, so Tatum, you brought up ordinals before. And so can we talk about ordinals for a second?
Yeah.
Because so technically speaking, are ordinals considered a layer 2?
No. It is such a big, like, it's probably one of the most controversial things that I've seen in Bitcoin since I've been this like deep dive in. And I've heard that some people have said that this is probably the most controversial thing since the block size war. I can't attest to that. That was like 2 people I heard say that on a space or something. But I'm probably not even the best to explain it. The way that I understand it is that you are attaching something to a SAT, I guess, or a UTXO, and people are selling these for Bitcoin. They're basically like trading small amounts of Bitcoin for big amounts of Bitcoin for some reason. I don't know. Like one guy that I know, he bought apparently a SAT that was included in the 10,000 Bitcoins that were used to buy pizza from Laszlo. I don't know the verifiability of that, but also he paid a lot of money for it too, apparently. And I was like, I'm not going to pay more than a SAT for another SAT is what I'm stuck on. And then you also have the controversy of what it's doing to the mempool. And I'm on both sides of it because like I don't like fees being 600 sats per VByte, which luckily we hadn't seen in a while, knock on wood. But also, it's really good for miner revenue as well. So I've just decided to sit down and shut up and let it all happen and just kind of scroll past that debate. Okay. Ah, there's a cat video. I like that.
Makes sense.
If someone else can offer a better explanation, that'd be great.
No, not anything better. My understanding of ordinals is there's a numbering system to track every sat and where it moves within different UTXOs, and then there's a decision, kind of arbitrary, that some sats could be more valuable than others. Like was that sat a part of a difficulty adjustment, or was that sat a part of a previous halving or something along those lines? So they've got like ultra rare sats and rare sats and common sats and things like that. It's interesting to me, but it's not something that I'm like really diving down and learning more about. I think it was Carl who'd mentioned this at one point, that Bitcoiners are very bipolar, or they at least develop bipolar disorder. And it's exactly like what Tatum said. On one side, when I'm doing a transaction, I want fees to be low. But if I'm mining, hey, high fees are good for all the miners. And so where do you land on that spectrum? But yeah, as far as ordinals and things like that, it's just not my cup of tea. So I'm not going down that particular path on the rabbit hole, and I'm looking for a different direction.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Bitcoin, is like the fundamentals are so strong and beautiful that all this other stuff is like, it's a lot of it's going to come and go, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think will, like, if it does not have a place, it will get priced out. But of course, with the bull run, I don't think that that's going to be anytime soon. I'm not going to deal with it. Apparently, it's equated to trading and gambling, which I've been burned on so many times doing shitcoins. And when someone decided to give me 100x leverage, so it's just one of those things I'm just going to sit out from. I'll let it do its thing for the time being. Mining rewards are very nice, and I'm hodling. I would like to consolidate my UTXOs for a little cheaper, but luckily, I mean, fees are down right now, so it's not too painful.
All right, well, we got a little bit of time left. So what else has been going on in the Bitcoin world that's catching your attention? If Carl or James, if you want to chime in, please do. Yeah, I cover so many news stories during the week. Like, it all becomes a blur sometimes.
Did you guys see the threads going on this morning about bad explanations for mining? How to explain Bitcoin mining?
No.
What? I need to buy that.
They're hilarious. They're so funny. I don't have a tweet to pull up right now. I'll have to look real quick here.
Hey, if you find one, send it to me later on, Carl.
Oh, they're hilarious. They're hilarious.
My thumbnail from today is a bunch of like literal miners coming out of a mine, and there's like a woke mob, and the miners are like coming out to fight them off. But I mean, it's supposed to be stupid. So
I have a little statue of it's like a little gnome. He's got like a little pickaxe, and he's holding up a Bitcoin, and I like put that thing on my S9, and I was like, oh yeah, there we go.
what's up, Berto?
Do you guys follow that? What is it? 100 Acres Ranch guy? I think he's in Wyoming or something.
Oh, I think I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's on Twitter. I don't know if he's on Nostr or not, but yeah, he's developing all kind of innovative solutions to. I think he's using it to heat his home, like S9s to heat his home. So it pays for itself basically with the sats he earns. So he's doing all kinds of interesting things and ways to. He's got this controller he developed where he can run the S9 super efficiently, and it generates heat at the same time.
Yeah, I think we had another guest about a month or so ago that was talking about that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, check it out. He's on Twitter for sure. 100 Acres Ranch.
Right.
I'm working on a presentation for the Denver having party for me and Tyler Stevens. We're talking about heat transfer within ASIC chips, and I'm running like some experiments and stuff on how to utilizing rudimentary hardware, how to maximize your efficiency, and within different like materials and different rated thermal paste and stuff like that. But then you also have the people with like Loki boards and different control boards that are like, doing all the work under the head. And like, I like playing with that too. And I like individually tuning frequency, but there's so much that you can do with ASIC miners, man. It's so fun to learn about. Like, I'm a psychopath, like 100%, because like, I just find joy in taking these computers apart and seeing what I can do to them to make them more fun for some reason.
Yeah, I wish I had my S9s. I sold them years ago.
You can get one now for only about like $100. I just get bored and buy a couple.
Right.
It's a disease. I need help.
Fun.
This is a cry for help.
It is fun.
I have so many S9s.
Yeah. So do they ever overheat, like, and sort of like a car engine when it overheats, it sort of like seizes and melts together? Does that happen with miners?
Well, I will say I was doing some experiments with Noctua fans, like the silent PC fans, and the first mistake that I made was the Noctua fans are about half the width of stock fans, and so I was screwing one in and screwed straight through a capacitor in a hash board. And I was like, well, good job, Tatum. So I replaced that hash board. And then I realized after I fixed it that I got the wrong speed fans. And so they were running very slow. And I was like, damn, this thing is quiet. But then I started hearing, and I was like, what is that noise? And I saw literal sparks on the tops of the hash boards, and they were like resetting. And I was like, this sucks. And I like pulled up the UI and I was like, oh yeah, this thing is freaking out. This isn't supposed to happen. So kind of in a way it does do that.
Wow. Here, Carl, you sent me this. This is the one?
Yeah. So Tatum, I found this tweet. If you, click into Alan Farrington's tweet. The
This
one
one?
below there. Yeah. Click the image below that. Okay, so this is the original tweet. This guy's trying to explain mining with a really terrible analogy. He says, imagine a water balloon hitting a target that's spinning rapidly at a constant rate, suspended above a teacup.
I'm done.
And it just gets worse from there. And everybody was reposting this with their version of how to explain mining poorly. So Alan Farrington says, imagine a duck with differently speckled eggs. Now imagine a game where you roll these eggs down a slope to see which gets to the bottom first. But the speckle pattern determines the slope, and the duck is frantically trying to save them all.
That's what mining is. That's all it is.
For real? That's sort of accurate?
Actually,
gosh.
not.
There were
even
so many of these restated in such silly ways. Imagine a cat with differently patterned balls of yarn. Now imagine a game where you toss these balls of yarn into a maze to find which finds its way out first. It just goes on and on. But yeah, it just turned into a big game of who could make the worst analogy.
That's great. That's a great place to end. We're just about ready to end. Yeah, this is man. People's creativity is off the charts sometimes. I love it.
Or was that Chat GPT assisted? So.
Oh
boy.
I would still love to find I would still like to find a Chat GPT. I know they exist. I think you can build one. A Chat GPT that doesn't have any bias at all. Like it's just.
There's one that I saw recently. I'll try to find it and send it to you. But it's basically like and there's like custom ones built in as well where you can talk to like former presidents or something like that. And like I was testing the limits and seeing like stuff that I've been told by ChatGPT, like I cannot do this and this and this. I was like, yes, you can, you dumb bitch. Sorry. But then I'd test those same prompts and be like, oh, okay, cool. It does work. You're just stupid.
Right. Yeah, you're just.
Have you guys
biased.
seen there's a project on Geyser called Spirit of Satoshi? And
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, I
I was part of the learning model for it.
It's a really cool project.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there it is.
There's the link there. Yeah, and they'll ask it questions and show the different responses. Ask one question to ChatGPT and one to Spirit of Satoshi, and find out what's and the answers are just starkly different. Like ask it, what is inflation, or is inflation necessary? Things like that. It's great.
Awesome. All right. Well, look, let's go round the horn and give your plugs, guys. AC, where can people find you?
Yeah, I mean, if they just Google me, I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn. But really, I kind of want to take this opportunity just for some last words for all the listeners out there. And that's that everyone is at a different point in their Bitcoin journey. We're all here on stage having a great conversation, and maybe some of it goes over your head. But really, there are no experts in Bitcoin. There are only students who started studying earlier. And no one becomes a Bitcoin maxi overnight. It takes time, investment, and study. And so I just encourage people to, if you're feeling the pain of inflation or devaluation, debasement of the purchasing power of your currency, take the time to study Bitcoin and then make that decision for yourself. And don't be afraid to ask questions and talk to people in real life. Like we talked about earlier, I bumped into Tatum randomly in person in real life just yesterday, which was awesome to actually finally meet you in person. So yeah, that's kind of my message for folks.
Thank you, man. That's really important, and I'm glad you gave that message just now. And by the way, all the links for everybody are going to be below as well. But Carl, how about you, man? Where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. The link will be there, and Noster a little bit too. Working with a guy named Murph on Studio BTC and the Bitcoin Trading Cards crew, and doing more with Tatum. We've got some fun stuff coming in the future. And last words, I would just say, don't make the mistake of thinking that you're late just because the price is so high compared to what it used to be. We're still early. It's still going to go nuts from here. So just dip your toes in the water and just focus on learning. Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you, Carl. And James, how about you, buddy?
Well, I would just say that you don't have to understand Bitcoin. I've got my mom. She got in at like $9,800. So you don't have to understand it. She doesn't even remotely understand it, but she knew it was a good thing. So just jump in and start learning. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to love it, but my gosh, it's just from an investment standpoint, it's the best performing asset in the history of the world. And if you're going to ignore that, then that's sad for you.
Thanks, James, man. Great hanging out. And Tatum, how about you, buddy?
Subscribe to me on YouTube, Tatum Turnup. I'm also on Twitter, Tatum Turnup. I'm also on Noster, Tatum Turnup. Tatum Turnup on literally everything. And final words, also sacrifice convenience. Until then, you're not free. It will come, don't worry. There are people that are working on that part of it. But yeah, and also I'll announce it right now. Between Two ASICs is back April 11th, baby, with Vivek Ramaswamy, or however you pronounce his last name. So be sure to watch out for that one.
Awesome, Tatum. And Michael, the sound guy's here. What's up, Mike? All right, well, that's it. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out in the Bitcoin panel. Join us every Friday, and don't forget my main channel, Fractal Bitcoin. Make sure you subscribe and like and follow on Rumble and all that. So, All right. So what we'll do is we'll end it the way we always do. Everybody just say goodbye at the same time.
1, 2, 3. Goodbye.